there is something that you'd like to submit to the governing body, please do not approach the dais. You may hand your item to the police officer in the room, which will be Officer Warnett. There is a 5-minute time limit during public comment. The Borough Clerk is the official timekeeper. Okay, so everybody, welcome to the Borough Ramsey Council meeting, Wednesday, October 24th, 2018. Roll call, please.
Mayor Dillon.
Here.
Councilman Gutwetter.
Here.
Councilwoman Jaxell.
Here.
Councilman Jones.
Here.
Councilman Kilman. Is not here. Councilman Verdoni.
Here.
Councilman Weber.
Here.
Thank you. Flag salute. Officer Warnett, would you lead us in the flag salute?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of all citizens to have advance notice of and to attend all meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting the public is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, notice of the regularly scheduled meetings of the Mayor and Council were published in the legal ad sections of the Bergen Record and the Ridgewood News on Friday, January 12, 2018. Please, folks, how this meeting is going to go, we have some agenda items that we need to take care of, communications, appointments, and resolutions. After the resolutions are done, which will be very quick, we will do the swearing in of everybody being appointed tonight, and then we will do the special presentation of volunteer awards. Minutes.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I move that the minutes from the work session of October 10th and the regular session from October 10th be approved.
Second.
Okay, any comments? Not hearing any? Roll call, please.
Councilman Gutwetter.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jaxell.
Yes.
Councilman Jones.
Yes.
Councilman Verdoni.
Yes.
Councilman Weber.
Yes.
Communications?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that communications be received and filed.
Second.
Okay, any comments on the communications?
I would like to thank the Bergen County Executive for the informing us of the $69,335 grant we received for the Senior Center project. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilman Gutwetter.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jaxell.
Yes.
Councilman Jones.
Yes.
Councilman Verdoni.
Yes.
Councilman Weber.
Yes.
Okay, I hereby make the following appointments. Eric Jaxell, Ramsey Rescue, Explorer member. Eileen Lawton, Ramsey Rescue. Andrew Lawton, Ramsey Rescue, Explorer member. Matthew Lutz, Ramsey Rescue, Explorer member. Jamie Sino, Ramsey Rescue. Michelle Taylor, Ramsey Environmental Green Team. Consent resolutions, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Be it resolved that resolutions 194-2018 through and including 205-2018 as they appear on tonight's agenda, having been considered by the governing body of the Borough of Ramsey, be and are hereby passed and approved. And we have no special permits or block party requests.
Second.
Okay, any comments on the resolution?
Yes, I would just like to say thank you very much to the Ramsey Rescue, Mike, Sam, Jackie, for taking Eric and his buddies under your wing and allowing them to be part of the Explorers program.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Gutwetter.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jaxell.
Yes.
Councilman Jones.
Yes.
Councilman Verdoni.
Yes.
Councilman Weber.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so whoever here was just appointed to the Ramsey Rescue Squad or the Green Team, I don't see Michelle, please come forward and we'll swear you in. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Eric Jackson.
Solemnly swear
Solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Ramsey Rescue and for you guys explore and according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under authority of the people,
under authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Nice to see you, Mrs. Devon.
Congratulations. All right, folks, then I will give this Chris Rager. So what you're going to do, you don't have to give these back to us tonight. You're going to fill out the right side of it, okay? And then when we get it back to you, I'll fill out the left side. You've got in charge. Thanks, Chris. You ready? Okay, folks, at this point, we're going to start doing the Volunteer of the Year Awards.
Good.
Okay. Yep.
Bear with me a moment. We're going to go out of order. Officer Beeman is here to award the lead recipients, and he needs to get back on the road. So we're going to call up Officer Sean Beeman, and this year's award-winning recipients: Vanessa Jones Black, Devin Dees, Karen Larson, Andrea Goodwin, Danielle Teach, and Jess Sertobal.
Everybody in here?
And we're coming.
All right, so last year was kind of unique. I was asked to present this award to women that I really didn't know. So I stepped into the position this year, and these women are fantastic. LEAD is the drug enforcement, recognition, and education portion of our school. We teach it in Dater and Academy of St. Paul's. Basically, I teach the classes, and these women help to facilitate all the events, all the Excite games, the Wizards game. They made it all possible, and they really made my job pretty easy. It was a great time for my first year, having such a smooth experience with all these women. So I can't thank them enough for all they did for us, for me, for the department, and for all of your kids. And I think you guys should recognize them too. You guys can sort it out. Keep it quick. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we broke from the order there for a minute, but I just want to welcome everyone here tonight. 10 years ago, I had this idea. I caught myself many times talking about the people who we were appointing to boards and commissions, and I found that they paved the way for Ramsey and made Ramsey what it was. It made Ramsey the reason I chose to come here, move here, and raise my family here. And I always said, you know, these people have made Ramsey great, but that was kind of it, and there's about 2 or 3 people at a meeting. So I went to the mayor and council and said, I think we should have a volunteer night. I think we should get everyone in here. And 10 years later, we're probably up to about 500 recipients who have been honored here on nights like this. we have people standing all the way out in the hall, and I want to invite you all next year to be at the new community center, which will be open, and we will have this we will be able to accommodate 350 people in that room. It's one of the, it'll be a great night, and everyone will be able to be in the room and see their family and friends honored instead of having to listen out in the hall. Thank you for listening out there. So at this time, we'll get back to the normal order. Mayor, go ahead. You got that?
Ambulance?
Yep.
Okay, ambulance corps, Charles Shutt.
Megan, if you'd like to say something.
Sure, I'd love to say something. Chuck Shucht here has been born and raised in Ramsey for the past 65 years. He raised his 2 children and his soon-to-be grandson. Hopefully today we have a baby. Born tonight. He was just born! Baby boy Connor was just born, and he's here because he's very dedicated to this corps. He's volunteered a lot in the past 65 years, and in the past year he came to Andrew. I'm sorry. The baby got me off track. I'm sorry. He's only been a member of this corps for a year and a half, and the amount that he has done in this year and a half is outstanding. He is our go-to person. If we need our ambulance fixed, Chuck, please go bring the ambulance to Rich. If we need the fan in the ceiling fixed, he's the guy to go to. He's been a trustee already. He's been the corresponding secretary. He's been the engineer. He is the go-to guy in that short term in a year. And I'm very proud to give him this award tonight.
Rescue Squad, Hunter Torchin.
Rescue squad.
I know his parents are here.
Yeah, they're coming.
You want to say a few words? Who wants to speak?
So this year's rescue squad recipient, squad member, engineer Hunter Torchin. He joined our squad in 2016. A little rough start with him. A little bit, not too bad. We started out a young member, really not sure. First stepping into the emergency services, really didn't know what to do. It was kind of, a whole new idea and a whole new scene for him. But I mean, going through our in-house level 1 program, he actually took it up pretty quickly. Made new friends, started bonding with all the other squad members and his classmates that were in the level 1 program. In the middle of 2017, he actually started to tinker with some of our equipment to attempt to fix it. He started out a little shaky, but throughout his time practicing and trying again, he actually never gave up. So this year, we were actually at the beginning of 2018, we were able to make him a full-fledged engineer, and he's now in charge of 423, which is our primary rescue vehicle that we use. So he's in charge of maintenance, making sure all our equipment runs properly. It's our first 2-piece out for any major accident or incident that we have. He's definitely come of his own. He's been taking charge of details. Our line officers have actually been tasking him with running cleanups in the building, with running some of our traffic details. So Hunter Torchin is definitely going to be coming up through the ranks soon, which you will hopefully definitely see. Again, congratulations.
Thank you. Emergency Management, Carolyn Green.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for this great evening. Again, it's my 5th or 6th time doing this. So, Carolyn Green is a member of Ramsey Office of Emergency Management. About a year or so ago, we were getting involved with the rewriting of the Ramsey's Emergency Operation Plan, which is a huge undertaking. It's a big document. It's the blueprint for Ramsey's emergency services, what we do, how we do it, how we respond, how we recover from all kinds of emergencies, from the smallest to the largest. So I had asked Carolyn if she would be interested in coming on and helping us administratively with that task. And Carolyn's first question to me, like many, when we asked them to get involved with emergency services, and I'm not a trained first responder. What can I do? What good am I? Well, a lot. Everybody brings a skill set to every organization, and in emergency management, any skill set is always welcome because we need volunteers to do the work that we do. So we start on the emergency operation plan, and lo and behold, we get hit with the back-to-back snowstorms in March, and we have a federal disaster declared, so we have to put everything aside that Carolyn's working on in the emergency operation plan, which is very detailed work, interfacing with all the chiefs of the departments, getting information, status reports, what we do on a daily basis to report to the state police, who eventually approve our plan. Well, the storms set us off track on that, like everyone else in Ramsey, and we're interfacing now with FEMA, representatives on the ground, going out, doing our thing, and there's a tremendous amount of paperwork and documentation that has to be done for Ramsey to recover money from these storms. And it's a lot of money. Over the past 5 or 6 years, I just calculated we recovered over $1 million back to Ramsey. Just for Ramsey. People like Carolyn that do the work on a daily basis, under the radar. We're not out there with lights and sirens going to the emergency events and that kind of stuff, but it's very meaningful. And we're still working, Carolyn's still working as we speak on that recovery. We have FEMA reps here on a weekly basis. So we're working on that. That's going to be a good deal. And the emergency operation plan was approved in July. So it's about a 7-month, from January to July. We finally got it approved from New Jersey State Police. That keeps Ramsey eligible for all these grants and FEMA recovery money and many other things that just kind of go unnoticed. But anyway, long-winded. Carolyn, thank you so much for what you do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have the Ramsey Leisure Club.
Ramsey Leisure Club.
They're not going to be here tonight, so we'll put that on the side. So this year's recipients were Diane and Robert Beggio for the Ramsey Leisure Club. Next up we have Ramsey Seniors, and this year's recipient is
Carolyn Masson.
On behalf of the Ramsey Seniors, we selected Carolyn because she's an unbelievable person to have helping out at the senior center. Originally, she had helped our other treasurer. She stepped up when the treasurer needed a little help, and then she inherited the position and took it on. And when she wasn't being treasurer, I'd stop in at the senior center, and you could find her in the kitchen, cleaning up to make sure it was clean, or going through filing cabinets and taking things home, to shred and get rid of, or sometimes taking some of the utensils from the kitchen home to make sure they were getting an extra good clean. So she did that all the time. She's just the kindest, sweetest, gentle person that I've ever met, and she's so deserving of this. And the shyest.
Next up is Garden Club, and that is Alice Lurick.
Hi, I'm here from the Ramsey Area Garden Club, and we joyfully have selected Alice Lurick as volunteer of the year. Alice is a woman of many talents. One of them is her amazing computer skills. Thank God. She has almost single-handedly, with the help of her husband, produced a wonderful yearbook, which is this year. 2018-19 year. It is our club's directory. It says all about our programs and activities and other club information. Each member receives a yearbook, which was flawlessly done by Alice. She also produces our club's monthly newsletters and has put our club on Facebook. Besides enjoying gardening, Alice also enjoys birding. One of her favorite local haunts is the Celery Farm in Allen. So, that's it. But the Ramsey Area Garden Club meets the second Tuesday of most months at the Lutheran Church of the Redeemer, Wyckoff Avenue, Ramsey. Come visit.
Correct.
Friends of the Ramsey Library, Diane Devine and Michelle Kazarowski.
I'll be nice.
Here, I'll hand you that.
Thank you. You're exactly.
My name is Pat Wasik, and I'm here to represent the Friends of the Ramsey Library. Museum Pass Program. If you have not heard these three words, you have never met Diane Devine. She is our Vice President. After countless hours of contacting almost every museum in the tri-state area, and also interviewing many local librarians, Diane's single-handed efforts resulted in a comprehensive program that provides free entrance to various venues appealing to children as well as adults. No stone was left unturned to find all the available possibilities. Diane also has involved herself in every aspect and activity of the Friends, lending a helping hand wherever needed. Michelle Kaskarowski stormed the Friends of the Ramsey Library in 2016 with energy and technological abilities to spare. Her title may be secretary, but she also handles the marketing, advertising, and publications that have advanced our organization to the 21st century. Because of her efforts, we have more of a presence and more of a face in town. Also, Michelle is relentless in making sure the library initiates more innovative programs for its patrons, especially the children. If anyone is forming a team, make Michelle your first choice. It's my pleasure to give recognition to Diane and Michelle.
Women's Club, Anna Loughlin, who's not attending, but there's a blurb that you can.
I have something to read on the Ramsey Volunteer of the Year for 2018, Anna Loughlin. The Women's Club of Ramsey honors Anna Loughlin for outstanding leadership and loyal service as President, Vice President, Federation Secretary, and Historian, and initiated our popular Strawberry Festival fundraiser, chronicled the club's 11-year history for our yearbook, and created award-winning scrapbooks. Congratulations to the Women's Club of Ramsey's 2018 winner, presented by Marjorie Detweiler, President.
Now the Junior Women's Club, Laura Sipolat.
On behalf of the Junior Women's Club in Ramsey, and for those who are not familiar, we're a volunteer organization comprised of women within the town, and we support many of the other activities that go on. We've supported the LEAD program, and we've had recently, you might have seen Touch a Truck, where we were supporting the various volunteer organizations in town. And tonight, it's my great pleasure to introduce everybody to Laura Sipolat and acknowledge and recognize her for her work in our organization. Many of the women in our club are volunteers and parents, but in addition, she works full-time, and then she comes home after working full-time and finds time to assist our organization in planning events and taking on new roles. And in fact, over the past year, she's taken on so much in addition to working full-time and being a parent. She's coming into a new role on the board. She's assisted with activities such as the spelling bee, the first grade fingerprinting, which in town, for folks don't know, it gives parents the ability to have fingerprints of their children. And in addition, she's working with Ramsey Responds in the various activities that we do. So I thank you, and on behalf of
Next one is Boy Scouts Troop 31, Bob Sudol and Peter Barry.
Okay, I'm going to start first with Rob Sudol. We have obviously two volunteers winning their award. Rob Sudol is our current Scoutmaster, and he has been for several years. He's dedicated his time to provide the boys with a solid Scout program. Boy Scouts is a boy-run program. In other words, the boys plan the activities, their meetings, their outings. And Rob has a natural ability to guide the boys in a good direction without taking over. In addition to our regular meetings, Rob provides many outings and suggestions for outings, both for the new scouts, like New Scout camping, and we have high adventure camping. Last summer, he took the boys up to New Hampshire so they can climb the highest peaks. And I'm sure that's a trip that those boys will never forget. Sometimes when we rope the Scoutmaster, I'm guilty as Scoutmaster, you know, it's like, oh, it's not going to be like an hour or so a week. It's like a second full-time job. He has to deal with all the scouts, and he has to deal with all the parents, and which is sometimes more challenging than dealing with the scouts. And Rob just does such a wonderful job with that. He has such a positive attitude about everything, and any problems come up, he's able to just deal with them in a positive and a cheerful way. So we in the committee are so lucky to have you as a Scoutmaster, and we hope you stay for a lot of years. We have to have a new award here for Karen. Karen should be Rookie of the Year. He came to Troop 31. He's also very active in PAC 175. But he came to Troop 31 and just jumped in and just volunteered for everything. He works with the boys as an assistant scoutmaster. He has several committee roles. He's a merit badge counselor. He's just so, do I dare use the word love? He's loved by the boys and so respected, and also by the parents. And we can't put a value on the guidance and the patience that you have with the boys and with the parents and with the troop committee too. Sometimes it's not easy working with us that have been there for many years. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's also an excellent recruiter, and he brought much life back to the troop and much enthusiasm in the troop and in the town. And he's well respected by all, but most of all, he's fun to work with. He always comes in with a smile, and he's got something to say, so make us laugh. So, and he's got good ideas. Okay, so congratulations.
Next up, we have the Girl Scouts, and this year's honoree is Lindsay Wayne.
Back again. Hello, dear. Lindsay is our outstanding volunteer of the year. I nominated her because for the past 3 years, she's been our townwide cookie manager. Now, this may not sound like a big deal, but it is a big deal. She's responsible for seeing that over 23,000 boxes of cookies are properly ordered, received, and distributed. Now, if you can think of 23,000 boxes of cookies, they would fill this room, whole thing, from floor to ceiling. That it's a lot of cookies. She's also responsible for collecting all the money for the cookie sales and making sure that each girl gets their proper recognition. She has to work with the girls, the leaders, the parents, council, citizens of the town if they have any problems. So everything came back to Lindsay. To me, I've been involved in Girl Scouts for a while. It's always a miracle that this happens every year and everything works out fine. And we really have to thank you for the last couple of years for that. It's a job that takes many hours and a lot of dedication. This year, Lindsay has stepped up to be our service unit manager. That means that she is responsible for each troop leader and to make sure that each troop leader provides a good, solid Girl Scout program to each and every girl. She deals, as I said, she deals with the leaders in town, the parents, and council. And of course, any complaints, here's where it stops. So, those are two of the main reasons why I selected you as Volunteer of the Year, and I offer you congratulations.
Okay, Greater Ramsey Unico, Bob Patty, Linda Limbo Alonso, and Maria Arabuco. Everybody here?
Mayor, Council. I'm president of the Greater Ramsey chapter. Many of you know us for what we do, be it for the veterans, seniors, ambulance, or scholarships for the graduating seniors. And the three nominees tonight, Maria and Linda and Bob Patty, are members of the chapters, work tirelessly, be it on committees, soliciting money, or other things so that we can run the fundraisers that we do. And it was a pleasure for the board and myself to nominate Marie and the other two individuals, Linda and Bob Patty.
Thank you. Dorothy wants a picture.
I'll give them to it the next meeting.
Dorothy wants a picture. And next up is Wright, Tara McDonald.
Hello everyone. Just wanted to go over a little bit about what RIFE is. If those of you don't know what RIFE is all about, it's an organization that has been started up about 4 years ago. Mayor Dillon kicking it off and going through for special needs individuals, kids with disabilities, and adults with disabilities that we've had. Our program has grown tremendously, and it was an honor and a privilege to nominate Tara to work with us, who's been with us since I can't remember. I'm probably going back to the Challenger sports all the way through into RIFE. But it was a very simple thing to think about an individual who's been working with special needs kids on a Saturday, every Saturday afternoon, and every Friday night, which is just unbelievable at the time to go through that. So every Friday night having our events, whether they're karaoke dances, they're having events, Halloween party, which is this Friday, and then even the sporting events, which is every Saturday. So it is a great honor to nominate Tara for this recipient of this award. Is just a great person. I appreciate everything you do.
Tara's my daughter.
Mayor, before you allow Mr. Popolo to sit down, maybe you want to mention to the crowd that he was Ramsey's Volunteer of the Year, representing the entire borough. Sorry.
No, that's okay, Aaron.
For all he does with our Challengers and RIFE organization.
Over the summer, Congressman Gottheimer held an event in early July down in Hackensack, and it was Hometown Heroes. And we nominated Mr. Popolo. I don't know if you guys realize, he's the one who started the Challenger League for special needs. And so we wanted Glenn to be recognized for everything he does for everyone in our community. Municipal Alliance, Sarah Fisher-Happy.
So 2 years ago, we had the leader of the Municipal Alliance, it was known as the Drug Alliance back then, she left because her children were getting older and moving on, so we kind of floundered for about a year until Mayor Dillon came up with the perfect person to lead the new organization, or the revised organization, and that was Sarah. And since she's taken over about a year ago, she's really re-engineered, reinvented the entire Municipal Alliance. We have a bunch of notes here because it was too much for me to memorize. But basically the goal is bring community together to raise healthy children and support the adult population in making smart choices to reduce substance abuse in Ramsey. And since taking on the role as leader, Sarah has done, the amount of activities that she's put on between hidden in plain sight. She's done a mental health first aid class that was sold out over the summer. She's got a mental health first aid class for juveniles scheduled for January, which we think is almost already at capacity. She's done drug take-backs, and I can't tell you how many, I don't even know if we're up to how many hundreds of pounds of drugs that she's spearheaded with the police department. She's reached across to different organizations. She's involved with the RIPE organization. She's involved very closely with Stigma Free organization. She's worked with the Ramsey Junior Women, who've been tremendous getting the word out for some of the events that Sarah's trying to coordinate. She's reached out to other municipalities, and she's joined forces with Saddle River Municipal Alliance, the Allendale Municipal Alliance, Mawa Municipal Alliance. And then those are some of the things that you might see, but what you don't see is all the stuff that she does behind the scenes. You heard Ralph Venturini talk about all the paperwork and stuff that goes on to get these grants. Well, Sarah's doing the same thing at a smaller level for the Municipal Alliance, so she's really doing a great job with all the documentation that's required for the funding that we receive. And again, Mayor Dillon, she wanted to be up here presenting to somebody else. It's probably the only time that the organization overruled Sarah and said, no, you're the person, so just congratulations.
If I could just say, I really had to kind of beg Sarah, but she said yes, even though she's on the Board of Health as well. And Sarah was the one who brought Lighten Up Ramsey to us. If everybody remembers that program, that was Sarah. And Joan Waring as well. But when I talked Sarah into this, and she graciously said yes, we talked about actually changing the name from Ramsey Drug Alliance to Ramsey Municipal Alliance to make it much more inclusive and encompassing, so it would pick up Stigma Free and RIPE, the Board of Health, and all these other initiatives. And Sarah has just run with it. So well done. So proud of you. Thank you. Farmers Market, Lorraine Castellano.
Great job. I'm actually here on behalf of Nancy Boone, who is our market manager. She couldn't be here tonight. But Nancy writes, Lorraine has been a dedicated volunteer for 9 years. Market goers look for Miss Lorraine and her craft table and are always surprised with her children's craft, often a farmer's market theme. It was Lorraine's idea to introduce the Chef Challenge last season. Lorraine is a dynamic and creative volunteer, and we appreciate everything that she does. I'm also a volunteer with the market, so I'm going to add what I think. If I could describe what Lorraine does, I think she brings joy to the market. She handles all the crafts for the children, and she's usually at a table that's near to ours. And I see these little faces coming by. What's for today? What's for today? And you have such unusual crafts. I have to say that I've stolen a few for that. For the Scouts. And when she's not there, the children will come and say, is the craft lady here? So we want to thank you for everything you do and for bringing joy to the market.
Ramsey Historical Association, Paul Simpson and Greg McNally.
Oh, I see.
I'm Dan Kennedy, Ramsey Historical Association. The RHA would like to recognize 2 members who have been longtime board members as they close out their service on the board, but continue to serve as volunteers. First, Greg. Greg has served as treasurer of the RHA for over 4 years now, handling both the payment of expenses and working alongside the VP of Finance to produce the association's required annual financial statements. This is both a detailed and time-consuming role. Greg elevated it to an appropriate level of discipline from where it was when he started. We appreciate his handling it for many years now. Look forward to his future contributions. Paul, until May of 2017, served as president of the Ramsey Historical Association, and has up until now served as head of buildings and grounds. During his 10-plus year tenure, he contributed significantly to key projects, including the relocation and reconstruction of the May Barn, the demolition and clearing of the old kitchen area of the old stone house, necessary repairs to the upstairs exhibit room, formerly the Children's Museum. And Paul also foresaw the success of the Ramsey Farmers Market and established, in conjunction with Nancy Boone, Bert Frail, Susan Lavender, and others, a governance structure and financial reporting discipline that has supported the back-end operations of our award-winning market. We thank Paul for his numerous contributions over a period of years now, especially putting a beard on and playing St. Nick at our annual holiday. Thanks, guys.
Full Commission, Kathleen Hewitt.
So Gary was unable to be here tonight, but as liaison to the full commission the past 2 years, Kat came on last year, joined us, and has taken a leadership role in the commission. She was instrumental in organizing this year's luau, which we had about 100 attendees at, and it's something that it brought not only pool members, but was open to the general public and allowed residents who may not be members to see the beautiful pool and the amenities there, and brought them in for a slightly like $5 more for the head count. The luau was a smashing success, so much so that the commission is looking to improve and enhance it, and maybe do it more than once, or launch it at the beginning of the season next year to let everyone enjoy it. So Kat's done a great job. She's also won this award for her work with the Ladies Auxiliary of the Fire Department, and she's been up here many times in the past as a presenter as well. So on behalf of everyone on the full commission, we thank you for your great work.
The Environmental Commission, Reba Hyatt.
Patrick Nerney, who runs the Environmental Commission, couldn't be here tonight. He asked me to say a couple of words about Reba. The Environmental Commission is really a group of fantastic and dedicated individuals whose their purpose is to maintain ecological and environmental stability of the borough. They do this through numerous ways. One of the main things they do at the meetings that they conduct every week is they review all kinds of site plans for any kind of new construction going on in the borough. They go out, they do walks of the facilities, and make sure they look at it from an environmental perspective. In addition to that, they do a lot of activities, from your Ramsey Cleanup Day every year. They've established, or they've achieved, and they've maintained the borough's bronze status as far as the Sustainable New Jersey, which gets us additional grant money towards environmental issues. And Reba has been one of the main driving forces between for all of those activities, and as a result, her peers all selected her to be the Person of the Year.
This is double space for all of you Sox and Dodgers fans that want to get home. Okay, you're all familiar probably with the hall that we have tonight in Columbus, but a little bit about what we do is, it was founded on the principles of charity, fraternity, and unity. And Rich is one of our members. We have 400 members. Several are in the building here right now. And we have raised a lot of money to give to charities and people in need. Over the years, Rich joined recently, and he embodies all these values of charity, unity, and fraternity. He became an officer of our council. He is a member of our golf committee. He also is the Ramsey Day food boss. He leads our special children's drive, which this year we continue to stay in the top 10 of the states for funds raised. It's kind of an all-weekend event that he runs roughshod over. And he's also our 4th degree liaison, which is the patriotism degree. So Rich was elected this year, around June, as our Knight of the Year, and we're very happy to put him forward as our representative for the Knights this year.
Fire Department, Artie Keys.
Artie came to us some 65 years ago. He is a firefighter for 70 years. Did 5 years in he served 5 years in the department out in Rockaway Point, New York. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, and he came to Ramsey, immediately joined the fire department here. Artie has served numerous capacities. He's been the president of our association. He is now the treasurer of our exempt association. He was instrumental in the restoration of our antique fire truck that we proudly put out on the road once in a while, our 27 LaFrance. Also, the thing about Artie is he is an incredible talented person with his hands. He can literally pick up a branch on the street or on the ground and whip out his carving tools and carve something up like a bird or a birdhouse or something along those lines and paint it. And it is tremendous detail, and it's something that we've seen over the years with Artie's talents. Anybody that's been in the upstairs of our firehouse, it's been renovated a couple of times, and Artie was instrumental in creating some of the woodwork and things that we have on display in the firehouse. So when Greg and we got together, we talked about it, brought the other leaders of the department in, and I put Artie's name out there, and it was hands down that Artie was going to get the award this year, and we're very, very proud. We're happy to have Artie, and his wife Marie is here, and she stands right by his side and keeps him in line. When Artie, when you walk in the firehouse and you hear somebody with a hammer, you hear the banging, it's Artie. Okay, where's Artie working today? And he don't have like a modern toolbox. He's got one of these big long ones with the handle in the middle, and he has a hammer, a saw, and a couple of screwdrivers. What Artie does with his hands is absolutely extraordinary, and I think he's done things around town. We have it on display in different areas in town. So Artie, congratulations. You're a man.
If you want to see, I wanted to do a ram. I didn't do one, I did two. And they're in the showcase in the left-hand corner.
Ramsey Fire Department, Ladies Auxiliary, Carol McGill.
side.
Go for it.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, my name is Kathleen Hewitt, and I'm the president of Ladies Auxiliary. And a little background about the Ladies Auxiliary. What we are is we support our firefighters. We're family members, and Tim McGill is sorry, gotta be serious. Carol joined us after Tim passed away. Has been an integral part of our group. Now we get together. We do a lot of fundraisers, and our most successful fundraiser is a medium event. And Carol was friends with one of the mediums who we brought up to us, and we have raised a lot of money using this medium. Her name is Rita Giganti, and without Carol and her connections, we never would have been able to do this. And she does help us. She comes to our meetings, and she helps us with everything that we need, and we're very proud to have her. And just so you know, we do have events coming up with our medium again. And it's so popular we have to add another date. So it's sold out in 2 days. And if anybody wants to join, it's on Facebook, or you can contact me, and we'll get you involved in that too. It's the 15th and the 20th. So thank you very much for being with us.
Oh, Ross wants a picture.
We got so many people on a waiting list.
Congratulations. Thank you.
The young people.
I think you had a good idea, Kat. Better in the middle.
Okay, next up is Hotspurs. Rachel Schwannery, Kevin Green, and Tom Carolyn.
I should have done
We'll bring you over here. There's more room. Kevin. Tom. Rachel. And there is one more person to add tonight. This is a bit of a surprise, but the Hotspur organization has also chosen to honor our very own Borough Administrator, Bruce Vosay. Somebody mentioned that they were shy. Bruce does an incredible amount of things as a volunteer besides what he does as an employee here. And he's been volunteering since he was a teenager. So I will read what they've written about each of our honorees tonight. Rachel Schwanneweed. Rachel has served on the Hotspur Board since 2012. In addition to helping out with coaching and team management responsibilities, Rachel has worn many different hats in her tenure on the Hotspur Board. She oversees uniforms, has been a division commissioner, website design and administration, also communications. Rachel brings a very passionate and out-of-the-box way of attacking various issues. We as an organization are very lucky to have her contributions. This acknowledgement is well deserved. Kevin Green. Kevin has served on the Hotspur Board since 2014. In addition to being a coach for many years, Kevin has owned a variety of responsibilities over the years, including but not limited to Division Commissioner, Field Lining, Ramsey Day and Communications. Kevin is an integral piece of the success of the Hotspurs Football Club, and we are lucky to have him and acknowledge this is an acknowledgement that is well deserved. Tom Carolyn. Tom has served on the Hotspur Board since 2012. In addition to being a coach for many years, Tom has had many other tasks as club director of training. He also helps out with field lining, negotiating for indoor facilities, training contact, and serves as the right hand of the president. Tom is indispensable in all of these roles, and he's the pulse of the club, and it flows through him with tireless effort. This acknowledgement for Tom is, again, well deserved. For Bruce Vosay, where do we start? Bruce, in a word, is amazing. He is so interwoven into the fabric of Ramsey. It is also true of the many roles he has played over the years on the Hotspur board. Bruce has essentially served in every single role within the club and currently is the treasurer. The amount of energy, passion, and thoughtfulness that Bruce brings to the club is infectious. He has a tremendous ability to assess and evaluate a situation, providing perspective that no one has considered. It is an honor to work alongside Bruce and a privilege to call him a friend. This acknowledgement is more than well deserved. Don't run away so quick.
Next is Ramsey Soccer Association, Stephen O'Neill.
Ramsey Soccer has been very fortunate to have Steve O'Neill. He coached for us for many years. In the last couple of years, we got him onto the board. He took on the role of field coordinator. So every weekend, there are over 1,000 kids in Ramsey playing soccer on our 8 fields. So when you show up and you see the goals, you say to yourself, how'd they get there? Steve O'Neill. How are the lines down at all of these fields? Steve O'Neill. How'd the nets get there? Steve O'Neill. Every Saturday from the fall to Thanksgiving, 11 weeks, 7:30 in the morning at Finch Park Shed, you'll find Steve O'Neill lining those fields again. He works tirelessly for these kids in Ramsey to play soccer, and it's an unsung hero. And we're very, very fortunate to have him be on our board. We'd also like to thank Steve's family. We know how many hours he puts in with us, and we know that their hours are not with you. So thank you for your support and allowing Steve to be a tremendous asset to the Ramsey Soccer Association. Steve, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ramsey Junior Football, Carolyn Beanstra.
I don't believe Carolyn is going to be here tonight, so we will make sure that she gets this.
Okay, and the last one for the evening is RBSA, Laura Sobel. Congratulations, and thank you so much.
So in true baseball, softball fashion, I'm here to pinch hit. Two co-presidents could not be here, so. Laura Sobel, Ramsey Baseball and Softball Association's Volunteer of the Year for 2018. Laura's been extremely instrumental in our girls softball program. She's been a league president, team manager, travel program coordinator, chief cook, bottle washer, any other job that came up, she's done it. She's also, we run a softball tournament every year that brings about 20 teams to Ramsey from other towns, and Laura's been a big part of carrying that annual tradition on. She's also moved the association forward in creating an online field matrix to facilitate games, practices, makeups for roughly the 17 teams that head out there every spring. So on behalf of the RBSA, congratulations to Laura.
In conclusion this evening, I'd just like to thank Sherry, who's here, Sherry Richards, our deputy clerk. For all the coordination. They get all these names, they coordinate all this, they get the proper spellings, and I know they work tirelessly to make this happen, and we wouldn't be able to pull off a night like this without them. And I hope you take something from this when you hear these stories and the tireless efforts that so many people have put in over the years to give back to our community and to make it a great place to live and to raise our families and stay.
And that concludes the volunteer awards for 2018. Thank you.
I didn't know about that special. I didn't know well deserved. You know what? Everybody I'll see what I can do. Yes, we do
Once they found out who won, everybody wanted it. Everybody. Or it was your grandson will probably can't wait. And my son, he lives in
Congratulations. Hey, how you doing? I'm okay.
Okay, we'll start committee and liaison reports. Finance Administration, Councilwoman Jaxell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First, I just wanted to address a comment that was made during the work session regarding the surplus and that being used as a slush fund in our budget. That's actually not how it works. We regenerate the surplus every year. Basically, the surplus is created by two things happening. One is we don't spend money that we thought we were going to spend, or two, we get income that we didn't expect to get. And every year, we have a fairly stable amount of surplus, and we regenerate it every year. We're not spending it like drunken sailors. We're actually very prudent about it. The surplus is something that serves a very important function in the budget. It acts as a cushion in case of an emergency. The idea that we have is to regenerate it every single year so that it's always there. And the proof that we're not spending it is that it's regenerated. If we spent it, it would be gone and you'd have a spike in the property taxes. Over the last 8 years, I believe, the property taxes have been under the 2% cap. Again, proving we're not spending the slush fund, so-called slush fund surplus every year. So I just wanted to get that straight. Second of all, I wanted to say thank you to all of the new volunteers. Our new rescue explorers, Eric, Andrew, Matt, and Jamie. Wanted to say thank you to Eileen Lawton for joining Ramsey Rescue, and also to Michelle Taylor for joining the Ramsey Environmental Green Team, which is what makes our town so great, our volunteers. We have a lot of amenities in town. We have wonderful services. We have so many things going for Ramsey, but what really makes this the wonderful, special community that we are is our volunteers. And tonight, everybody in this room got to see exactly how that works. How many people are here giving back, doing more than they have to, in so many ways. And I really love this night because volunteers aren't chosen by us here on the dais. We don't go around picking who's going to get the prize. It's the organizations themselves. They're chosen by their peers, so that makes it even more special. And I've been doing this, I've been a part of this for, I guess, since the inception of it, because I've been up here 11 years, and every year it just gets better and better. And tonight, I think we had our very first birth for volunteer night, so that was something that actually brought a tear to my eye. So thank you for being here, and thanks to all the volunteers, and thank you, Councilman Jones, for coming up with the idea. It's really been great. Thank you. Public Safety, Councilman Weber.
Thanks, Mary. I'll add my congratulations to all the recipients of the Volunteer of the Year, and really thank all the volunteers of all the different organizations. I'd also like to welcome all of our new volunteers, all those to Ramsey Rescue and to Michelle Taylor for Ramsey Environmental. And since the leadership of the fire department is here, I'd just like to thank them for the effort that they went through over the last 5 years. Basically having an 83 tower ladder survive so long and keep it in such great condition, and then going through the effort of bringing in a new tower ladder for the town, and the baby's arriving tomorrow night around 7 o'clock. So thank you for you guys for all the work you've done, and congratulations on the new truck. Thank you.
Thank you. Building, Planning, and Zoning, Councilman Verdoni.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to extend my congratulations to all the volunteers that were honored tonight, and my thanks to the young teens who volunteered at the rescue squad, and Michelle Taylor on our appointment to the Green Team. I also want to publicly thank Bill Patterson, Recreation Commissioner, and Bob Buono, Building and Grounds Supervisor, for completing the repurposing of one tennis court on East Oak Street into 2 permanent pickleball courts. Pickleball is a cross between ping pong and tennis, and it's the fastest growing sport in Bergen County, probably in the nation. It's very popular with senior citizens, and Ramsey is blessed with several accomplished players who won, as a matter of fact, won medals at the Senior Olympics, and we're very glad that we were able to pull that off, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Utilities, Buildings, and Grounds. Does anyone have any comments for Councilman Kilman? No? Okay. Public and Governmental Relations, Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Dillon. I would offer my congratulations and thanks to the new group of volunteers tonight: Eric, Eileen, Andrew, Matthew, Jamie, and Michelle. And hopefully someday we'll see some of them up here being recognized for their many years of service, as they're getting a pretty early head start on it all. I know I had a lot to say before, but I just want to say tonight we saw the very best of Ramsey, and the very best that Ramsey has to offer. The wonderful people who stood here before us to get recognition, the amazing stories, and what they've given back, and it never gets old. I love to hear when you hear Artie Key's 70 years of service as a fireman, 65 in Ramsey. And, you know, he can't run into a building anymore, but he's still working, and he never says no to a project that comes up, and he gives back. And those stories, fall by the wayside if we don't have we don't have a night like this, and we don't have the organizations willing to put somebody forth. So glad that we could do that, bring those stories out tonight, and just a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. Health, Education, Social Services, Councilman Gutwetter.
So rather than repeat what everybody said before, I'll just acknowledge and thanks to all the volunteers who received acknowledgement tonight, and thank the new volunteers. And on this pickleball, I have a question. So if I play tennis right-handed and ping pong left-handed, what do you think is going to happen when I play pickleball?
I have no idea.
But I'm going to try it out.
Okay, thank you. For my remarks, I want to congratulations to all the volunteers of the year. It truly is a special evening, and I'm glad that we take the time to recognize their efforts and everything that they contribute to the community. And thank you and congratulations to the newest members of the rescue squad, including Eric Jaxel. And I'd like to thank Michelle Taylor for volunteering to be on the Green Team. I know she's very enthusiastic about it and looking forward to it. And of course, thank you to the Ramsey long haul. And can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see that beautiful new truck. And to remind everybody that the Ripe Halloween party is this Friday night at the high school. Borough Administrator.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also just thank all of our Ramsey's volunteers, not just the ones recognized tonight, but the hundreds that are behind them. They truly are the lifeblood of the community. So that's it. Thank you.
Borough Attorney.
Nothing, thank you.
Borough Clerk.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we'll open the meeting to public comment. Anyone wishing to address the governing body should, when recognized, step up to the microphone and give his or her name, spelling the last name and address. Please speak in an audible tone for the record and address your comments to the chair. There will be a 5-minute time limit per speaker unless reduced because of volume of business on the agenda. No one other than the person having the floor will be permitted to enter into any discussion without recognition by the chair. And the borough clerk is the official timekeeper. Public comment.
George Buehler, B-U-M-I-L-L-E-R, Ramsey, New Jersey. I'd like to go over a few of the items that the council president commented about my May 14th, which is now over 6 months old. My May 14th request that information be put up on the borough web on the Friday afternoon before close of business, before the mayor and council meetings. He touched on a number of items. Agendas are fluid, but I don't see that as a reason at all. Realizing that they can change and do change, what's put in the package for the mayor and council Friday for the hard copy, that'd be just fine, and that would meet my request. People don't understand the difference between a draft and an enacted resolution or ordinance. Well, that's an easy one. Provide a course, perhaps in concert with the Ramsey Adult School, or inquire and make use of the experience and knowledge that some of the residents have in government service who might be willing to do such a course. Watermarks do not fully secure electronic documents. Well, they're not supposed to. If you want to secure a document, you encrypt it. But we're not dealing with encrypted documents here. And he indicated that there are problems, but he didn't give one illustration of such. How would a problem occur? Who would do what? And we don't have a problem with people counterfeiting dollar bills nowadays. It isn't worth it. So I don't know. I have no idea what the council president was getting at, but I'd like to hear from him. Now, one question related to that, and I got it all down here in a letter, is what prevents somebody from photographing with their iPhone or Android the documents in the binder? Is there any New Jersey statute or local ordinance that prevents that? I don't think so, but it'd be nice to have a citation if indeed there is such a strange requirement. And a question that I asked, could it be put, could it, the information, be put in hard copy early enough on Friday so that people have a chance to flip through it before the 4:30 cutoff?
12 of the Borough Hall. Now,
hard copy. Isn't that what goes out to the mayor and council, to the governing body? So all one has to do is set the Xerox machine to one more than it's set now and pull out or not do those documents that are by statute private to the governing body. Now, please note that I have a copy of my letter that I read from during the work session, and a copy of my letter that I summarized now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blumiller.
Now, one additional comment.
Thank you, Officer.
The incumbents forgot to mention one item that they did do,
Time.
and that was to set the time that the doors open to 10 minutes before the meeting. And what reminded me of that,
Mr. Blumiller, your time is over.
excuse me,
Your time is over.
and what reminded me
And
of
your
that
time is
is
over.
it's winter coming, and you keep us all out there waiting for the
Time's up,
doors
sir. Your
to
time is
open.
up, sir.
Thank you.
Gentleman's report. We set the doors open half hour before the meeting starts.
Excuse me?
The doors are unlocked half hour before the meeting starts.
Well, excuse me, Mayor, but the website, the last time I looked at it, said 10 minutes. Has that been changed?
I just checked with Mr. Bozay and he said it's 30 minutes.
Excuse me? I know it was open tonight, but are they, as a matter of course, open
Yes.
Yes.
half an hour?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Chance Parker, PRKER, 11 Park Place. Not unlike most council meetings, I didn't catch the committee reports, typically because there aren't any. It's your obligation, it's your responsibility to report out during the council meeting what happens at the committee meetings. It's unreasonable to expect Ramsey residents to attend every single committee meeting. That is why there is a liaison from the council who attends those meetings, who should be reporting what was discussed, what was the agenda, what is happening on those various committees during this meeting here, enabling the public to come in and get a summary of the activity that's happening across our government. So this has been ongoing forever. Nobody says anything about committees. It's disgraceful. You should be ashamed of yourself that you come up here and say absolutely nothing. You don't report. You're not fulfilling your responsibility. You're failing at your job function. You're also failing at your job function by being 2 years late in revising a master plan. The backbone, the foundational governing document about how this borough operates. You're late 2 years. It's not because the borough engineer has a scheduling conflict. You're 2 years late. This is planning board. This is environmental conservation. This is traffic. This is facility planning. Happens to be a fairly hot topic these days. So for 12 years, this borough has neglected to update the master plan or take a comprehensive look at our facilities. Again, this is negligence, okay? This is something that has to be addressed immediately. Also, we do test over 50% higher on our arsenic content in municipal wells as per the published Ramsey Water report from 2016. There's been various reports of additional contamination in and around ground aquifers in close proximity in 2-year recharge zones of 3, possibly even 4 of our municipal wells. Nothing is being done by the borough to protect our water supply, as exhibited by the slacking of oversight during the construction, during the excavation of the pool site. Every single soil movement application requires an erosion control and silt fence. You can't put a cheesecloth in the drain and call it good. I have pictures of sediment that had built up in that drain. They are excavating literally feet from the drain. That site had been treated with pesticides and fertilizers, as all town and municipal borough grounds are, over the course of decades. That storm drain is literally 30 meters from a municipal well. Nothing was done. There's no violation, there's no fines to the contractor. It took them a week after I notified the borough engineer several times that this was a blatant violation of code, of zoning, of construction best practices, of common sense. So again, there seems to be a total lack of priorities in this town in respect to governing documents, the master plan, and government's main and sole purpose is to protect its citizenship by safeguarding our water supply.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Anyone else?
Braggin, B-R-A-G-G-I-N, A-D, Ramsey, New Jersey. Before I start my comments, I'd like to ask Councilman Weber to put down the papers that he's looking at and pay attention to the public speaking.
Mr. Bragan,
I'm speaking, I don't want to be interrupted, please. Furthermore, he and other members of the council have on a repeated basis been using their cell phones. It's disrespectful. The cell phone should be turned off, to put on vibrate for emergencies, but not to be used during the meetings when people are commenting, etc. The purpose of these meetings is to hear what the public has to say, and attention should be given, whether you like it or not. Thank you.
Actually, they're not.
Well, okay. With regard to the evening's awards, I would like to call out and note that I was very pleased to see that in many of the awards and many of the volunteer boards or entities, that there were a disparate spattering of both young, middle-aged, and senior people. That is very welcome to see that we have volunteer organizations that cover the entire range of citizens. Very pleased to see that. It's unfortunate, however, that these recognition awards, I'll call them attaboy awards for the volunteers, occur, and this is probably one of the few times that many of these people come to borough council meetings. Unfortunately, they don't hear the operation of the governing body. It's a civic responsibility. There's an apathy and indifference that exists in the town and in the state and in the federal government that causes issues. Some of us take this to heart and try to do the best we can to try and make a positive difference. You may disagree, but that's the intent. There are a couple issues that I'd like to call your attention to. With regard to the planning board, this coming Tuesday, 83 Grant Street, which is a polluted site of the New Jersey DEP, is going to have a continuation. It is a very serious condition, as it exists 5 feet from the Massanicus Brook, a charging area for our aquifer for our areas. I concur with Mr. Parker in his comments about liaison reports, because I've been making those comments recently that nothing is coming through. And that's the purpose of the liaison reports, to inform the public. I would suggest that this issue of 83 Grant Street be analyzed very thoroughly to ensure that the LSRP and the DEP is on top of it, because this is a serious problem. With regard to Councilperson Jack Sells' comment about surplus funds, the surplus funds, I noted, diminish with spending, and the amount of surplus funds that are rolled over each year are determined by the amount of spending that reaches into them, and it can vary. Now, Councilperson Jack Sells said that they're there for emergency purposes, but that's not true. The state of New Jersey has statutes for provisions for emergency appropriation when necessary. It is not necessary to have and I'll use the term slush fund, to roll over, to use to justify and state fiscal responsibility and conservative management. It is just not true. There is no accountability of spending at various departments within this borough operation. If this was a corporation, it would be bust. It would go out of business because there's no oversight, no accountability. I see people sitting around in trucks, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee for an hour and a half at a time on side streets, dead-end streets, etc., getting away from the sight of their supervisors because they're goofing off, wasting time before they go in. There's no accountability. There's no checklist of what gets done. How much gasoline is used by trucks idling all over the place? There's overspending. There's no control from the top. It needs to be reined in. We need to run government like it was a corporation for profit to make sure it's efficient and productive. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bragan.
And I respectfully
You know-
disagree.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bragan. Anyone else from the public? Not seeing anyone, we'll close public comment. Okay. We don't have any advertised public hearing. We don't have any introduction of ordinances, no unfinished business, no new business. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.